Hello, I'm Josh Sidorowitz, and welcome to this very special edition of Interview. We have a very special guest here today. He's the man who's been tapped to replace Jerry Richards as the next township manager here in Meridian, and Frank Walsh joins us today in the studio. And we thank you so much for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
And we want to welcome you to Meridian, or rather welcome back home, because you are from the area, right?
I am. I was actually born over at Sparrow Hospital back in '65. Spent the first few months at an orphanage here in Lansing. I was adopted by my parents out of the Jackson area, and was born and raised there. Went to high school at Northwest High School, and then on to undergrad and graduate school, and then had a career in government, and here I am, full circle back.
And here you are, yeah, coming a complete 180 here. And I know that I was able to sit through the public interviews that we had here in the township when we brought in all the candidates, and you would hit on the fact that this was home for you, and you had connections here. And talk a little bit about your connections here and kind of why that drove you to want to pursue coming back here as the manager.
Well, you know, I've been in government for actually back since '84. Right out of high school, I got involved in township government, and I lived in Colorado and Ohio during my jaunts of being educated. And it was really important for me to come home. My parents live about 25 miles south of the township, right off of Meridian Road. I actually went to elementary school on Meridian Road. But I have a motto in life, and thankfully my wife agrees with that motto. It's, you know, once you get to where you want to be in life, don't forget where you came from. And the Lansing-Jackson area has always been home for me. And I'm really excited to be back, and thankful to the Meridian Township Board for giving me that opportunity.
Excellent. And as you mentioned too, yeah, your parents are here, and you'd be able to care for them. You had mentioned during the interview, right? Yeah, right.
My dad needs some special care right now, and there's, you know, people joke, how can you give up Lake Michigan and St. Joe and the brick streets and all the tourists? And you know what? I'd give all that up to be able to watch the Tiger game with my dad on a Tuesday night. So it's I'm the one winning in this trade. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's been an exciting few days so far.
Well, let's talk. You mentioned leaving Lake Michigan. You've been in St. Joseph now. You were in St. Joseph since 1996. Quite a lot of time there as city manager. And talk a little bit about transitioning now from St. Joseph to Meridian, because there are a lot of similarities between the two areas.
Right. They're very. I would call them very Meridian Township and St. Joseph very high-end communities. You know, Lansing, or the Meridian Lansing area, is home to many great companies. St. Joseph's home to Whirlpool. St. Joseph's on Lake Michigan. Meridian, Lake Lansing. Okemos, Hazlet school districts, top rated in the state. St. Joseph's a wonderful school district. There's just a lot of similarities between the two. River running through them and that sort of thing. So when you look at the two communities, and I think the high expectations in St. Joseph, the community has high expectations for the local government, customer service, that sort of thing. And I think the residents, the 40,000 residents of Meridian, have high expectation for their local government as well.
And you were talking just about one of your mottos, but another one of your mottos, and it kind of ties into this whole expectation, is customer service. It's something that you brought up numerous times during the interview. It's something that the board members latched on when they were making the decision. Talk about what you mean when you say customer service, because I'm sure you'll be talking about it, you know, as we go on here, and kind of why you latched onto that as a motto that you wanted to really take on as a manager.
Well, I think if you talk to a majority of the residents in St. Joseph, where I spent the last 17 years, I think you would find from them we provided a high level of customer service, whether it was snow plowing, leaf pickup, helping them out with cable problems with Comcast, when their electricity is out, getting them in touch with a power company, and on down the line. We really, I feel a government needs to be responsive to the people. You know, when you look at government, they tend to have a monopoly on services. No one else provides fire and police and water and sewer and all of the things that governments provide. But we have to treat it like we don't have a monopoly. We need to provide outstanding customer service, and that's my expectations for wherever I'm at and whatever government I'm serving. And I think Meridian does provide a good level of customer service from what I've been able to gather. But that will be a focus of mine and the entire staff, is that we're here, we're really servants of the public. I mean, we're paid for by the taxes that come from the community, and we need to make sure that all of our efforts resemble that priority that people have placed in their government, and it will be a high priority for me.
You mentioned some of the things that you were doing in St. Joseph. Would you agree that you take a very hands-on approach to leading and managing?
I do in some ways. You know, St. Joseph's only 8,500 people, Meridian's 40,000, so there'll be a little getting used to that and the size of the community and the scope. But really it boils down to when Mrs. Smith has a problem on Cornell Road or in St. Joseph on Langley Avenue, it's really the same thing. It doesn't really matter how many residents you have. It's the same thing. When they call, are they responded to, and the question or concern that they have, is it addressed? And those things are really important, because really, I always say to the staff, when someone calls with a problem, like let's say it's their neighbor's not taking care of their property maintenance, code enforcement issues. I always say to the staff, if not us, who? Who's going to take care of that? Who's going to protect that homeowner and their property value if we don't? So I place a really high priority on serving the constituents.
And I'm glad you brought up the sizes, the population, because while there are similarities, St. Joseph is about 8,500. We have 40,000 in the township here. So you agree that you'll have to tailor it a little bit to you maybe won't be able to be as hands-on because there are so many more people. You're going to have to kind of adjust a little bit for that.
Well, when I was in Colorado for a year doing an internship out of graduate school, I served in the city manager's office, and Loveland at that time was over 40,000. So I have some perspective on a community of that size. I would go to this far. It's going to be a little more challenging, but I like a challenge, and I'll do everything I can to make sure that every resident feels represented and when they have a concern of the local government. And I want to make sure that I embody exactly what the township board wants out of the manager.
How would you describe your style of leadership and management? We mentioned hands-on, but if you had to kind of sum it up, how would you describe your style?
Well, I'm a big believer in Jim Collins' book, Good to Great. Take a place, take a community that's good, and make it great. I happen to think Meridian Township's already great. So, maybe it's great to exemplary, I don't know. But, this is a top-notch community. It's been well run by the board and Jerry Richards for a long time. And I have a great respect for what they've accomplished and the community that I'm coming to. But my management style is pretty simple. It goes back to Jim Collins' work in Good to Great. Get the right people on the bus and let them do the driving. I really think that with the right team members in place, and only being here 3 or 4 days, I've been just thrilled by the people I have been able to meet and the department heads and that sort of thing. But that's what you really want to do as a manager. You want to get the right people on the bus, the right people in the key positions, what I call my management team, and then hold them with high expectations and allow them to do their jobs. I don't need to be telling Luann or overseeing what Luann's doing in parks. That's just, it's been happening. She provides a great service. And so, you really just sit back and just oversee those kind of things from afar. So I'm not, when it comes to those kind of things, I'm not really hands-on. I allow good leaders to lead, but I also want to make sure that we have good leaders. That's what the manager's job is all about.
And in looking at your duties as a city manager, some of the things that you had to do in St. Joseph, you managed all the city departments, you prepared commission agendas, you prepared city budgets. You expect a lot of similarities with this job and transitioning pretty easily with doing a lot of those same duties?
I do. As a matter of fact, we just finished all of our union contracts for the next 3 years.
Fun, right?
And then I understand there's a number of open contracts that need to be worked on. So I'm jumping right from finishing them in St. Joe to starting over here. On May 6th, we finished our budget in St. Joseph and for the next year. And so now I'll be starting on the new budget here, working with the finance office. So yeah, and those sort of things, I think the manager needs to be, like with a budget and those sort of things, the manager needs to be hands-on, regardless of the size of the community.
And during your interview, you remarked you had read through the entire township budget before you even had your interview here, right?
Right, yeah. It's important to get to know the community before you can come in and say, hey, I want to be the Meridian Township manager, but I don't know anything about Okemos or Hazlet, So I think it's important to really get down and focus on what the community. I was able to meet with 22, 24 people in the community Ann Chapman at the Hazlitt Library, and Betsy at the Okemos Library, and the superintendent of Okemos Schools, Kathy Ash, and I was able to have a conversation with the Hazlitt superintendent. So there were a number of people I met because I wanted to get a feel for the community before I interviewed here to make sure it was a good fit. Because not only does the township board have to be comfortable with their choice, I have to be comfortable leaving what was a very, very great situation at St. Joseph.
And what was the count? By the time you had your interview, it was about, what, 13 visits to the township, even before you interviewed?
Right. Yeah, yeah. Put a lot of miles on the car.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, and family was very supportive. I think my wife and daughter were probably in 11 or 12 of those. So yeah, we got to know the township pretty well, some beautiful areas of the township. And having grown up right off of Meridian Road, it was kind of symbolic to, leave my parents' home and get right on Meridian Road and drive up here. But yeah, we did visit the community and get to know it a lot before we interviewed here. And we've been back several times to look for a home.
And in talking to board members, that was one thing that stuck out in comments that several of them have made, is that you did your homework, you showed that you wanted to be here, and one even remarked, how did he have time to do his other job when he was doing all this research for a new job?
I didn't. Yeah, I just didn't. But no, it was a lot of weekend work. It was a lot of effort went into it, and the good people of Meridian were very cooperative and giving me a chance to meet with me and that sort of thing. But yeah, it was a lot of time. But like I said, it's really important to get to know a community before you come in and understand the budget situation, understand the personnel, and understand the myriad of services that Meridian Township provides. I had a great visit with Kit Rich over at the Harris Nature Center. I really enjoyed that. And so, even if I didn't get the job, I thought, I've met a lot of great people and got to see a lot of good things. So, but yeah, I'm really excited, just 3 or 4 days under the belt, but get going and delve right into this.
And you mentioned being able now to come full circle, to return here. But this is, coming back and managing here, this is on top of more than 25 years of experience in politics. And so fascinated when I found out that you started your political career at the age of 19 in Henrietta Township. Talk about that. What was that like?
Well, you've done your homework. Yeah, that goes over.
I'm trying to keep up with you.
That goes back to 1984. Yeah, actually, I filed for township office to run as a trustee when I was 18. The election happened a few months past my 19th birthday. So I was elected at 19 years old to the township board, one of the youngest, if not the youngest in the state at that time. I was reelected 4 years later in 1988. And so I have a term and a half on a township, 6 years. But in 1990, when I got out of graduate school, I was offered the job out in Colorado. So I left the position in the middle point of my second term. But I've had a love for serving the public and being responsible for people who are having issues within their community. I mean, I've enjoyed doing that. I've been doing that for 29 years, and I'm not even 50 yet. So, I really get a thrill for when people are having a challenge within their community, being able to assist them, whether it's a pothole, a tree issue. That's where I think people, again, if not us, who?
Did you always know that this is what you wanted to do?
Well, I was class president in my sophomore, and so I was senior class president at Northwest. So yeah, I guess so. I've always had that little burning desire to, I don't know if you call it politics or what you call it, but I call it public service. But never to go into the realm of state rep or state senator or Congress or anything like that. I enjoy this side of the seat, working for the elected officials. And I'll tell you, I've really enjoyed getting to know the township board. They have been so warm and receptive to me, even going back to after the time I've interviewed, reaching out to me, wanting to help. Julie Brixey provided the name of our realtor. We got Martha Bayshore through her. We really enjoyed working with her. I mean, it's just, they couldn't have, Betsy's Legoff was just so inviting and wanting to know how happy they were with their selection and stuff. So I really appreciate that.
And you'll have plenty of meetings to sit through yet. I know, I'm sure you're looking forward to that as well. And I wanted to ask, in doing your research, you're familiar with the budget, you're familiar with a lot of the key players in the township. What do you see as being the big standout priorities that you want to tackle, that you want to make sure get attention as you start off as manager?
Well, the first thing is just getting to know the staff, and again, it's only been 3 or 4 days, so I haven't had a chance to do that in totality yet, but get an understanding for how Meridian Township functions. Not coming in to create a lot of change and havoc and that sort of thing. I just want to get to know the people here and how we operate as a team. And then from there, working with the township board to understand what are the priorities, policy, governance, and all of that. How does that play into the things that they want to accomplish? So for me, after 3 or 4 days, I don't have any individual goals for the township. My goals will be reflective and responsive to that of the township board and what they would like to see accomplished. But right now, it's just getting to know the operations and getting to know the people here. Because after all, it's the employees and the team here that deliver the service, and that's the highest priority that we have.
Mm-hmm. And with Jerry Richards filling that position, 20 plus years serving that, and many have said those are big shoes to fill. But to look at that, do you look at it as having to fill those shoes, or is it carving out your own niche, or how do you see taking that position forward, making it your own, or trying to keep a lot of the similarities that he's implemented?
That goes back to reviewing the township, reviewing the people, how we operate as a community, and how we're doing on customer service. Jerry Richards had an exemplary 2 decades here in the township, and I hold him in high esteem. How we'll be in comparison, or where my direction will be with what Jerry did. Jerry and I have had some conversations about that, and Jerry understands that he's had 20-some years here, and I'm taking over, and things may be a little bit different. I don't know. But from what I can tell, but again, that's about 72 hours on the job, I can tell that it's a well-oiled machine, and I like the direction it's going, and I've enjoyed getting to know the township board in the last few days, and I think we're going to make a great team. We're going to provide high customer service. We're going to focus on economic development, and we're going to continue to make Okemos and Hazlet and Meridian Township the place to live in the region, and the best small town in Michigan. That's my focus, and I think we're almost there.
So yeah, you said it's already great. How do you go from good to great? How do you go from great to where do you go from here?
Well, you just fine tune the old machine and make sure that it's running well, and make sure the right people are on the bus, and making sure that we're providing the high level of customer service that our people desire and demand. Where's the park millage going to go? What's the future of that? All of those things go into making a community, and we want to become, if we aren't already, we could be the most desirable place to be. I mean, that's our banter. You want a great high-octane, high-level energy place to live that provides great services? Meridian Charter Township's the place to be. There's no other place.
You're already working on taglines for the township?
Absolutely. It's all about customer service. It's all about marketing yourself as a community, and I really like the position that Meridian Township's in.
And you signed a contract. You'll at least supposedly be here through 2015, right? Hopefully.
Well, after buying a house, I hope longer than that.
I was going to ask you, I mean, how long do you plan on finishing your career here? Would that be something ideal, or what are your thoughts?
I'd love to. I mean, I'm not a job hopper. I've had 2 jobs in the last 23 or 24 years, so I'm pretty loyal to the institution. And had my desire not been so strong to move home, and had the situation not been the way it is with my parents, I probably would still be in St. Joseph, because excellent staff, excellent community, and excellent city commission. So I was really happy there. But I was thrilled when I got the call that I was chosen here to lead here, because I think this is a great place to be. And when you look at the Okemos and Hazlet school system, wow. They're rated one of some of the top schools in Michigan. The best. We have 28 parks, 17 land preserves, a park millage. It's going to even enhance what we have. I mean, we are going to take this community, and we're just going to become the best place to live in Michigan. They're going to be flocking to get in.
Well, I think that's an excellent note to end on. Frank, we want to thank you so much for coming in. Want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, and good luck to you in your new position. I really wish you well.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Bittersweet. I'll be leaving. You'll be coming in.
I hope that's not a sign of the announcement.
No, absolutely not.
Good.
But thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we want to thank you for joining us here today. Frank Walsh, former St. Joseph City Manager, now the newest face here in Meridian Township. That will wrap it up for us here today. Remember, even when we're not on your TV, you can find us online. You can like InnerView. Our page is on Facebook. You can follow Home TV on Twitter. And of course, we're always streaming online at hometv.net. I'm Josh Storowitz. Thanks so much for watching.